Have you ever felt trapped in a relentless cycle of frustration, anger, or jealousy, as though these emotions had taken on a life of their own? Times can feel as if the mind is like a runaway train, hurtling toward negativity, with us as mere passengers, helpless to change its course. But what if there was a way to take back control, to step into the driver's seat and steer our thoughts with intention and clarity? Today, we embark on a journey to master our minds. This isn't about suppressing or ignoring negative emotions. It's about transforming our relationship with them. Imagine the freedom of releasing anger at will, letting go of envy, or watching resentment dissolve like mist in the morning sun. Through the profound teachings of the Buddha, we'll explore how to move beyond the grip of negative emotions and step into a place of peace and inner strength. The mind's natural tendency toward negativity. To truly understand the power of mastering our minds, we must first recognize why our minds are drawn to negativity. The mind, much like a garden, needs careful tending. Left unattended, it naturally grows weeds, anger, jealousy, and resentment which spread and take root. Buddhism teaches us that the mind gravitates toward these powerful, often captivating emotions because they're easy to hold on to, quick to arise, and sometimes even comforting in their familiarity. Yet, just as a garden can flourish with the right care, our minds, too, can be guided to cultivate thoughts of peace, kindness, and gratitude. At the heart of mind control lies awareness, a cornerstone of Buddhist teaching. Awareness isn't merely observing our thoughts passively. It's an intentional, deep engagement with them. Imagine shining a flashlight into a dark room, illuminating every hidden corner, revealing thoughts we might otherwise avoid. Without awareness, we become easy prey to our emotions, blown around by their force. It's like driving without paying attention. We may end up somewhere we never intended to go. But with awareness, we gain the power to steer, to guide our mind away from chaos and toward a place of calm, a place of purpose. Example story: picture someone driving down a busy road, mind clouded by stress and distraction, unaware of what's around them. Suddenly, another driver cuts in front of them, and anger flares up. Without awareness, they might react instantly, honking, yelling, feeling their blood pressure rise. But with awareness, they can take a step back, recognize the anger rising, and choose not to react. In that brief moment of choice, awareness grants them a pause, a powerful pause, to decide a response that preserves their peace rather than disrupts it. Why mind control matters: a path to inner peace. Imagine how different our lives would be if we were no longer ruled by fleeting emotions but could instead cultivate a lasting, unshakable peace. This is why the Buddha's teachings on mind control are so valuable. It's not about forcing positivity or blocking out what feels unpleasant. Rather, it's a gentle, ongoing practice of recognizing our emotions, observing them without judgment, and gradually learning to shift them toward peace. Over time, as awareness deepens, this inner calm becomes our natural state, a sanctuary within us that remains undisturbed, no matter what life brings. The step-by-step guide to mastering the mind. Step 1. Shift to wholesome thoughts. In life, there are moments when we feel as though our minds are drowning in anger, jealousy, or resentment. These emotions, though entirely human, can easily pull us into a downward spiral that feels inescapable. The Buddha taught us that instead of resisting or battling these negative feelings, we can gently redirect our minds toward thoughts that are kind, peaceful, and wholesome. Think of it as changing the station on a radio, switching from the chaotic noise of anger to a channel that plays a soothing melody, gradually bringing calm back into our hearts. Inspiring story: imagine a man named James, who has had a particularly difficult day at work. On his drive home, he feels the frustration building within him. He replays moments in his mind: a snide remark from a coworker, the harsh words of a demanding boss, and the stress starts to turn into anger. But then, James makes a conscious decision to shift his thoughts. He recalls a moment when he helped someone in need or a beautiful family gathering that brought him joy. As he immerses himself in this positive memory, he feels the anger start to dissipate. By shifting his focus to something wholesome and peaceful, James has transformed his emotional state entirely. The Buddha taught that this technique works like a soothing balm for the mind. Just as we apply ointment to heal a wound, wholesome thoughts have the power to calm our inner turmoil, bringing relief and restoring our peace. This is often the first and one of the most effective steps in learning to control our mind. Step 2. Acknowledge the consequences of negative thoughts. When the first step isn't enough to calm our mind, the Buddha suggests that we confront the reality of our negative emotions by considering the harm they cause. Holding on to feelings like anger, jealousy, or resentment doesn't just hurt us. It impacts everyone around us. If we allow these emotions to drive our actions, they can lead to regret, fractured relationships, and even physical stress and tension. Inspiring story. Consider Sarah, a young woman who often struggles with jealousy when her friends succeed. One day, a close friend shares a major career achievement, and instead of feeling happy, Sarah feels envious. She begins to dwell on it, allowing jealousy to settle into her heart. But then, Sarah takes a moment to pause and reflect on where this jealousy will lead if she continues to nurture it. She realizes it will only create distance between her and her friend, causing unnecessary pain. Acknowledging this, Sarah decides to change her perspective. She genuinely congratulates her friend, allowing herself to share in their happiness. As she does, the weight of jealousy lifts, and in its place, she feels a renewed sense of connection and joy. Reflecting on the disadvantages of negative thoughts can be a powerful wake-up call. When we clearly see the potential harm these emotions bring, it's easier to release them. This doesn't mean we ignore these feelings altogether. Instead, we acknowledge them without allowing them to dictate our actions. In this way, we regain control and choose a path that leads to inner peace. Step 3. Avoid feeding negative thoughts with attention. If the first 2 steps aren't enough to dispel negativity, the Buddha taught a third technique: refrain from giving these thoughts too much attention. Like a fire that needs fuel to keep burning, our negative thoughts grow stronger the more we focus on them. Instead, we can let these thoughts pass without dwelling on them, thereby denying them the energy to persist. Inspiring story. Imagine John, who recently had a heated argument with a family member. Hours later, he finds himself replaying the argument in his mind, feeling his anger rise each time he thinks about it. But instead of allowing this feeling to grow, John makes a conscious choice to let the thought go. He shifts his attention to his present surroundings, noticing the sounds, colors, and sensations around him. By immersing himself in the present moment, he finds that the angry thoughts start to fade, like clouds drifting across the sky. His mind returns to a calm state, and the anger gradually loses its hold. This method is incredibly effective because it doesn't require us to suppress or fight the thought. We simply acknowledge it and then let it go. When we stop reacting to our negative thoughts, they lose their grip on us, and we remain anchored in a calm and clear state of mind. Step 4. Relaxing the thought process. Sometimes, despite all our efforts, a negative thought lingers. In these cases, the Buddha advised a gentle approach, relaxing the mind and softening the thought process. Negative thoughts can often create inner tension, making the mind feel tight and unsettled. By focusing on gentle, positive emotions like loving kindness, compassion, or gratitude, we can soothe the mind, allowing it to return to a peaceful state. Inspiring story. Consider Maria, who feels overwhelmed by constant worries about the future. The more she dwells on these thoughts, the more tense and anxious she becomes. Realizing this isn't helping, Maria tries a different approach. She begins to focus on the things she's grateful for: her health, her family, the simple comforts of her daily life. As she reflects on these blessings, she feels her mind start to relax. The tension dissolves, and her worries lose their hold on her. Maria finds herself feeling calm, centered, and grateful for the present moment. Relaxing our thoughts doesn't mean ignoring our challenges. Instead, it's about letting go of our tight hold on them. By relaxing the mind, we create mental space, allowing us to face our concerns with clarity and calm. Step 5. Crushing the thought with determination advanced. The final step, which the Buddha recommended only for those with experience in mindfulness practice, involves a firm, decisive approach, crushing the thought with determination. This step requires strong awareness and a resolute choice to reject the negative thought. It's an advanced technique, as forcing thoughts away too strongly can sometimes make them even more persistent. Inspiring story: David, a seasoned meditator, has struggled for years with resentment toward a former colleague who wronged him. Despite trying various techniques, the resentment continues to resurface. Finally, during a meditation session, David decides he's ready to let go once and for all. With each breath, he tells himself, "This resentment has no place in my mind." He feels an inner strength as he reaffirms his decision, and gradually, the resentment loses its power over him. For the first time, he experiences a profound sense of freedom and lightness. While this approach requires caution, it's a way of reclaiming our mind's strength. By setting a boundary and standing firm, we reinforce our ability to master our own thoughts. The Buddha advised trying other, gentler methods first, as this step requires a deep foundation in mindfulness and self-awareness. But when practiced mindfully, it can be a powerful declaration of mental strength. Each of these 5 steps forms a comprehensive guide to mastering the mind. Shifting to wholesome thoughts, acknowledging consequences, releasing attention, relaxing the mind, and finally, crushing the thought with determination. All of these techniques empower us to regain control over our emotions, creating a sanctuary of peace within. Through practice and consistency, we build resilience, transforming our mind into a place of calm, clarity, and strength. Mastering the mind is a journey, one that requires practice, patience, and perseverance. Learning to overcome negativity isn't a quick fix. It's a process of self-discovery and transformation. Each time you practice shifting your thoughts, acknowledging consequences, letting go of attention, relaxing, or setting firm boundaries, you build resilience and inner strength. These 5 steps offer a path toward lasting peace, a way to create a mind that becomes a wellspring of calm and clarity. Remember, this change doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow unfolding, like the blossoming of a flower. But with each small step, with each moment of awareness, you're planting seeds for a mind that's strong, grounded, and centered, a mind that, regardless of life's storms, remains a sanctuary of peace. In time, with mindfulness and dedication, you'll find that your mind becomes a source of enduring tranquility, a quiet space of refuge, no matter what challenges arise.